Hey everyone, it's Jennifer with Rooted in the Rock, and I've got something dropping from the education branch right now. Hey everyone, welcome to Rooted in the Rock. I am so glad you're here. We're back to education again. Today is Alternatives to Public Education Breakdown Part 3, all on your own custom. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the other parts. We're in the middle now, all on your own custom. This is the part of homeschooling that generally kind of freaks everybody out. This is the part where people are like, I don't know what to do. It's overwhelming, okay? Totally overwhelming for pretty much most everybody, okay? It is, but it doesn't have to be. So, and there is so much, let me tell you, there is so much. I cannot even begin to tell you all of the things, okay? So this is going to be a general, I'm going to show you a few, talk about a few just for a little bit, but of course there are so many options, seriously. And I was thinking about it today, and I was like, and as I was going through things, I was gathering some different books and things to show you, and I was thinking, with curriculum, there are so many of them. And so many of them are good too. Like there's a ton of it, and a ton of it is really good. And like I talked about before, like learning styles and love languages and things like that, it varies person to person which curriculum works best for them. So I can't really say particularly you should use this one or you should use this one. It's really individual to the family, depending on how much time you have, how much teaching you're going to do, how much your kid can do. If you want some of it to have, like online resources, it's just all the things. So I'm going to go through a few of them just to show you, just to get you started looking, okay? Because if you go online and you Google homeschool curriculum, the search results are going to be many, many thousands. I might check that later just to see how many actually pop up if you just put in that general term. So there's a lot. So I'm just going to show you a few just to get you started, since we particularly want to talk about Christian curriculums. I'm going to focus mainly on a lot of those. Not every single one I have is that, but most of them. So all on your own custom on the internet. I have a list of a few, like there's one called Sonlight.com, Sonlight.com. I will have all of these in the notes too. I'm going to put links to all of these things. Sonlight.com is one. It's a whole curriculum. BJU Press is another one. Now that is one, we used that curriculum at a school we used to be at. It was a hybrid, part Christian school, part homeschool. And we used a lot of, not everything BJU, but we used a lot of BJU for the main subjects. But the BJU also has a homeschool program for people who are not at a school, who are just at home, and they have online videos and all kinds of things. There's also one called Teaching Textbooks. We've used that for math this year. I have a friend who she just absolutely loves it at their house. My kids have not liked it as much. The way the guy on the video describes how to do things, sometimes it's very detailed. And so for my older daughter, my younger daughter has been fine with it. Bing, bang, boom. She's good. My older daughter is like, it's too much. He over-explains things, but she's at that age, little drama's coming in here. So she's like, he over-explains things. I like the way you explain it better, which on one hand, I'm like, oh, please. And on the other hand, I'm like, oh, she likes how I do it. But anyway, it just depends. And sometimes you don't know, like you can have friends who love it and then you guys try it and it's like, that one didn't work so well for us. When you first do all the homeschooling at home, it can be terrifying, it can be overwhelming, but I want you to take a little confidence and a little encouragement in the fact that, you know what, not everybody does it, and then the first year, everything that they picked, oh, that was awesome, and this is amazing, right? Your first year probably is not going to be perfect, and that's okay. It's okay. If they only do half a year of math one year because of this curriculum wasn't working or that or whatever, it's okay. We're at home. We can work over the summer and catch up with things, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. And just breathe. It'll be okay. It can be, like I said, again, overwhelming, but it's okay. Sometimes you try curriculum and you're like, this one didn't really work for us. We'll try this one. Sometimes it takes a little bit to figure out the one that that really gels with you. Sometimes you end up using just the whole program of a particular curriculum, all the subjects, all the things. And sometimes you end up doing, well, we like this one for math and grammar, but we really like the science of this one. So we're going to do the science from this one. And that can get a little hairy, but as you get into it and as you know it more, that'll be easier. And as you look at things. So anyway, back to another one of the big ones is Abeka. A lot of schools use Abeka, but you can also use Abeka at home. Another one is called ACE. It's ACE, Accelerated Christian Education. I have a friend. That one is extremely portable. I'll show you some of those. One of my friends, her parents were missionaries, and they were overseas, and they used that for their curriculum. She finished high school a year early. So because she could work at her own pace and even go fast. So it was really flexible, but it's really flexible travel-wise too, they're extremely portable. I'll show you. We're considering going back to that. I'm not sure what we're doing next year. I'm in the boat with you, okay? We're trying to figure out what on earth we're doing. Another one that we've used is Saxon Math. We used that one, I think it was first grade. That one, Saxon, I'll have to look into it. I'm not sure if they do other subjects besides math or if it's just math. I'm thinking it's just math. But the Saxon program, it's one of those where you either love it or hate it. I don't have that one to show you. We have it somewhere. It's in a box, maybe in my basement. I don't really know. It's around here somewhere. I know I've seen it, but I couldn't find it today. It's a box, like a book-sized box, but it gives you a big spiral-bound teacher book, and then you have the kids' book and the tests and all. It gives you all the things. But the thing with Saxon Math, which I found interesting, and actually my daughter really loved it, my oldest really loved doing that, is it's completely scripted. So a lot of people, math is the subject that they just, nope, I can't teach math. No, that's not my subject, no math. So Saxon Math, though, is really great for those kinds of parents who don't remember how to do a lot of the math, but it's completely scripted. It tells you, the parent, exactly what to say. In the book, you say this, and wait, this is the response you're looking for, and you say this, and it's got a whole script for each lesson. And then they do the work and all that. For some reason, my older daughter really loved that one. The only thing with that is it requires you, the parent, to teach, you have to spend that time doing the lesson every day or whichever days that you do math. So it's one of those. It's like for those kinds of kids, it can be really great for certain people. But then on the other hand, it requires more effort of you in that process. So that's the thing with curriculums too. Some of them require more of the parent teaching. Some of them require less. So that's one of those things that just depends. Like Saxon Math, it's one of those, like I said, either you love it or you hate it. Like I've known people that really hated Saxon, but then I know people who love Saxon. So, just like with all of them, be careful when you read reviews because there's always someone who loves it and there's always someone who hates it. You really have to look for yourself. So, okay, so now I've listed a bunch. There are so much more than that. So much more. They're online. They're in some of the stores. It depends on where you live. You might have, we have one out here called the School Box. Actually, they closed the one that was right by us, but we still have one not too far away. It is kind of a drive, but they have them around here. I know they used to have, at least, if it's still there, they used to have a really big one in Chattanooga. They're all over. I'd have to look at their website and see which locations they still have open. The pandemic kind of hurt that a lot. But the School Box was really great, but on the expensive side too. So sometimes you'll have to compare if you have education supply stores in your area. I'm not talking about like Office Max, whatever, although sometimes they have some stuff too, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about education, a store for teachers. If you have one of those in your area, that's a really great place. If you want to just go and look at the different things, at least if you want to put your hands on it and look at it, that's one option. Sometimes libraries around you will have stuff you can come look at. One of the great places to go look at curriculum is Homeschool Expo. There are several different, they're all over the country. Like I said, it depends on where you live, what's available around you. You'll have to look it up and see. I know here we have one called Southeast Homeschool Expo that comes, it's in Cobb County. So north of Atlanta, kind of, it's not halfway between Atlanta and Chattanooga, but it's kind of in there. It's usually at the Cobb Galleria. But my problem with that one is that it's like at the end of the summer. It's like right when school starts. So if you're, and they're really great, and they have this expo, and you can find some really great things at these expos. They're awesome. I have found some really neat things, books and games and all kinds of good stuff. However, that one for us, it's late in the year. And if you're trying to decide what curriculum you want to use, you don't want to wait till school has started, because who knows if you order it, how long it's going to take to get to you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they have stuff there. You can buy the books and take them home that day. But like I said, check the dates on that. Don't wait until too late. And then you're kind of pushing yourself into the summer, which some people don't mind. That's not a big deal. But just be aware of that. So expos, libraries, teacher stores, and also online, all those kinds of places you can look. So I'm going to show you some now. I have a couple of things. Some of these are older and partially used that we've gotten from people. Some of them are things that we've used, and because I haven't thrown things away. You got it, guys. You got to recycle. You do not need to, like, I have this. This is some Abeka from my youngest, who is now, this year, she's in 3rd grade, going into 4th grade. I really don't need her K5 writing tablet, honestly. So what we've done, that's a whole nother post. That's a whole nother video on keeping work and what to keep and how to keep it, how to save it. That's a whole nother post. Okay, sorry. Anyway, this is part of the Abeka. I'll take some pictures and show you some pictures of the inside. But it's really lovely, you know, standard workbook kind of pages, but they're colorful. They have pictures. It talks about, well, this one, it's pretty standard, honestly. A lot of them are very similar, very same. This is what the Abeka looks like. They had a numbers and writing tablet for K5. This one is really great as well. Pretty standard. Abeka also has a lot of books, like reading material. So short chapter books and things that go along with particular historical periods, historical events, things like that. At our old school, we had a whole closet, you know, of course, with the curriculum and books and stuff we used. And there were a lot of them in there that were Abeka books that were just for reading, just to give us good, clean, Christian-based material for reading for particular time periods and stuff like that. So there's that. One of the big things we used was BJU. Now, BJU, as a teacher, I really liked grammar with BJU because the way they broke up English language arts, whatever, the English books for, not Abeka, sorry, I'm on BJU now. The English language arts, the English books for BJU were broken up. So you would have so many chapters in the book, and you would have a grammar chapter like, verbs, nouns, whatever. And then the next chapter was a writing chapter. So it was teaching either a particular type of writing or, and it walks the BJU chapters for writing, walks them through all the steps, basically the steps of the writing process. I was always really big on the steps of the writing process because everybody always worries about, that's a whole nother post too. I need to be taking notes. That's a whole nother post about the writing process. It's really, really great. But anyway, just a little niblet here. Everybody always worries about spelling and grammar and all those kinds of things when they're writing. I'm like, no. When you got to get the words out, you got to get the story out. You don't even touch spelling. That's one of the last steps. Okay. Don't even worry about that because that will totally mess up your flow. Anyway, but it kind of, the BJU curriculum, those writing chapters walk them through the process. They go through the brainstorming and the organization. It gives them graphic organizers. It gives them this is what you're going to write about. Okay, this lesson. And so the chapter is broken up into lessons, and this lesson we're going to brainstorm for this, and this lesson we're going to organize, and this lesson we're going to make an outline, and this, it totally walks them through. I really liked it. Now, for us at our school, with the days we had, it was really hard. I ended up doing both at the same time instead of wobbling back and forth. If we were at home, I would totally just go back and forth. There, we had to do them together, like we're going to do grammar chapter and a writing chapter at the same time. We had to overlap it in order to get through the curriculum. That's one of the beauties of doing all on your own custom at home is you can plan it out, and you can, if you need more time for verbs, you can take more time for verbs. Verbs. If you need, less time for sentence structure, then you don't have to spend you can spend as much or as little time on different bits as you need to. And if there's something you go through the chapter and you didn't quite get it, and you're like, what, let's go back and do that chapter again because you got like a 60 on the test, and you let's just do it again just to get make sure we've got it good. You can totally do that. I mean, that's one of the beauties of the flexibility of schooling at home, is individually you can do that. So anyway, BJU, the math, this is what the workbook looks like. So the math, there's a lot of options with the BJU. I don't know exactly if the homeschool book looks the same as this or not. This is the curriculum, the books that we got for school. So I had my kids do these for homework. This is the reviews. So you have the chapter. So they have a bigger book that's their workbook for math. So you can tear pages out, which is always great, or leave them all in there, however you want to do it. And then there was also, this was optional, this review book. But the BJU, I maybe it's because I taught with it for 5 years, but we really enjoy the BJU. And then there's the reading for BJU. I didn't like the reading as much, personally. That was just me. But the reading textbook was like paperback, is this huge thick, it was like 2-3 inches thick book that has all the stories, like a standard like reading book has like all those short story, all the things in it. And then there was this workbook that went along with it. It depends. That one for me personally, I didn't like as much, but a lot of people really liked it. For me, a book that you're going to be opening and closing a lot shouldn't have a flimsy paper cover. Like, those need to have a thicker cover, definitely. But that's just a personal thing. Okay, then the ACE PACES. So the ACE, the Accelerated Christian Education, they call these PACES. Okay, so they have certain subjects that you order. And there's a free test available on their website to test like which level you need to be at. You don't have to be in a particular, you do whichever level you want. And then you have different subjects that you order in. And then the subjects, these are the paces. So like I have right here, I have the word building, I have 2 English and a math. So it comes in these books, and you can see how thin these are, right? It's just a thin little, almost like a magazine booklet kind of thing. And these are kind of like, imagine if you took a textbook and each chapter is its own little book. That's kind of how that is organized. So, but it really, for some kids, instead of having this huge book that's like, oh my gosh, look at what I have to do, they get to do these bite-sized pieces. So each of these books, it's like a standard kind of workbook that it talks about the skills. It's got these little Christian comics. They're kind of cheesy. Honestly, they're kind of cheesy looking because they're old. But, and in the middle of each pace, when you get it, before you give it to them, you take this middle thing out. This is their test, okay? So once they finish, it's like a chapter test, okay? So once they finish this pace section, they have this little test. It's usually just these 2 pages on the inside, but it's a test, like a chapter test for this pace that they just finished. So we did this a little bit. Back then, my younger one, actually it was my oldest that I did this with, and she didn't like it so much, but she liked being around other people, and it was, I think the younger they are, the more they enjoy like being in the classroom and all that. Now she's in junior high. She's got all this ballet stuff that she does, and she's like, she would love nothing more than to just do these next year. Honestly, she's kind of more efficient now, and she's more of she doesn't need as much motivation. I could just give it to her and be like, okay, work on your reading now. And she'd just take it and go. She loves the idea of working ahead. She loves the idea of spreading it out. And these, like if we go to grandma's for a week or 2, like we could take this and still do homework while we're there. Like these are super portable, super easy. If you have to travel or anything like that, you can just take them with you. And you don't have to take the entire year with you. You can just take the chapter that you're on or the next 2 chapters or whatever, depending on how long you're going to be gone. And she loves the idea too of working over the summer and her brain not turning to mush when she's trying to get started again the next year. So, and that is also fantastic for if you want to work ahead too. So anyway, like I said, I don't know what we're going to do, but that's the ACE paces. Now I also have some other ones that are a little more, maybe not that's all those that I've just showed you, the Abeka, the BJU, and the ACE paces. You can get every subject you need of those. All of them. It's got everything. Some curriculums are just one particular thing or another. Like we had issues with spelling. So one of the things we tried, and what a lot of people love, is this one called Spelling Workout. And this one it's just spelling. It's spelling. Now it's Modern Curriculum Press. They have all kinds of stuff, but this is a particular one that we used. This one is more, they're short. Like to me, it wasn't enough practice. My daughter liked it pretty well, but I don't know if she learned them that well. But it gives you a story, some workbook pages that go with it. Now, here's the thing though. We were doing this, and I didn't have this, which is the parent guide, the teacher's edition, okay? So you can order these on Amazon, which is what we did. And we just worked on it, and I'm like, it's okay. We did it for, a little while, and it was okay. But my friend gave me an entire tub full of all this curriculum that they've used or haven't, some of it they've used, some of it they haven't used. It was all just a ton of stuff. And this was in there. I was like, I know that one. And I looked at it, and it's the teacher guide, and it tells you, well, for one thing, it gives you the answers to all the things, but it gives you explanation, doing a warm-up test. It shows you, it has instruction on one side, and then it shows you the student page. But it also, tells you what to do for the different exercises. It's also it says take it home. So it's like this little homework kind of page, review stuff. So some curriculum, make sure. Now, when we were at our school and it was the hybrid, ended up the last couple years, we started offering for the parents we told them, if you want the teacher's edition for at home, we can order you one. You just pay us and we'll order it and it'll get shipped with all the things. So some parents did that and some parents didn't. And so sometimes you can, go through the work and you're fine, but sometimes having the teacher edition is so extremely helpful. The teacher editions, we're talking, it's like buying college books. Actually, they're not quite as bad, but like the BJU teacher edition for like math. Well, and it also gives you like the CD-ROM and the tests and the answers and all that stuff too. The tests might have been a separate pack, but I think it was like $60, maybe $45. It's somewhere between $45 and $60 for the teacher edition. So it is more cost. However, if it's a subject that maybe you don't know so much to do with or whatever, just go ahead and do it. Because we're talking about, even if you spend several hundreds of dollars on curriculum, it's still cheaper than many, many thousands of dollars it costs to go to private schools. So, of course, more than free public school too. But, it's up to you. Another one, this one, when I first started thinking about homeschool curriculums, I didn't even think about this one because now I have some of these, but it's one of those books that I would used to go get at the teacher store for different things. But it is actually, you could use it as curriculum. This one's called Spectrum. And they have a ton of these. I would see a ton of these at the school box, but also I think this is one that I've seen on occasion. I'll see one of these, not like a whole massive set of them, but I'll see one or two of these sometimes at Walmart or Target or Staples, in the little tiny teacher section that they have. But these, again, these are maybe more extra in addition to a program, or if you're doing a program and maybe you just don't like one part of it and you want to do something else, it could be like that. Standard kind of workbook, but the pages are colorful. And that one is there's writing, and this one is the math, and it looks pretty normal. But that is another option that might be a little more accessible. However, it's got all the basic skills and they're correlated to state standards and all that kind of stuff. However, it's not, a complete full year of curriculum. It's really more like extra help or extra work or, bonus. What am I trying to say? I can't find my words right now. Another one that she had in her bin was called Write Shop. And this is for writing. And this is the teacher guide. And then there is some of the activity worksheets in here. With writing. Writing is one of those subjects where teaching writing, it really depends on your style, but also how your child learns. So whatever writing, I don't even remember what writing instruction I got at school. I used to like to write in elementary, but then middle school, it turned and I hated it. And it was whatever curriculum, however they were teaching it. When I became a teacher later on, I had to go through, the county made us go, they had this whole reading and writers workshop and all that. Readers and writers workshop is awesome. But also, it's a lot of work too. But doing that, going through that, I learned how to like writing again. And so it just depends. Writing is a very on-off thing where you'll have to choose one that goes with you. But there's this one called Write Shop, and it's got all kinds of, in the, Spiral Bound Teacher's Guide, there's worksheets. It's one of your writing curriculum options. There's also something that a lot of homeschool people do is that, they learn languages. There's a ton of, I could do a whole video just on language learning curriculum. There is so much out there. There's, of course, there's the ones everyone's heard about, like Rosetta Stone, and there's another one that's a lot like Rosetta Stone, but there's a different name. I can't think of it right now. There's like language learning apps on devices, all kinds of things. You can also get all kinds of different curriculums, and this one is Latin. Latin, there are a lot of homeschool people that like to learn Latin. Partially, part of it is because, education and its link with learning and all of that, but also if people who want to become a doctor or a lawyer, things like that, Latin can be extremely, extremely handy. So this one is called Song School Latin. And one of the great things is it comes with a CD in the back, and it's got songs that go with the things, but it's also got, it's very instructed, like, here are the words to learn, here's the song, here's the lesson, here's the practice. I like the structure. I don't remember, I'd have to ask her. I don't remember I think they liked it and then they decided they're just not going to do Latin anymore. I don't remember if she liked this one a lot or not, but languages, don't forget, there are other things besides the basic. Now, when you sign up and when you sign to the state, you say, I'm going to homeschool, and it requires you these basic subjects. You can always do other subjects, and you can find curriculum for those things. You can find curriculum for languages. You can find curriculum for art. I have, guys, a bookshelf upstairs that's like loaded with all these little teacher books for different things. There's curriculum for teaching art. There's curriculum for teaching health and different things with social studies. I have books that are like from the teacher store that I'd gotten that are just about maps and directions and all the individual things. If you need anything supplemental like that, extra, there are all kinds of options. And then one more I have to actually show you is called Horizons. She had a ton of these down in the tub for me, but I thought it was interesting. This is the teacher's guide, actually. I don't have the student one of this to look at. But one of the things that I thought was interesting about the teacher guide is it has a list of each lesson. You can go through this teacher list and see lesson by lesson. So if maybe there's one you want to skip or one you want to spend extra time on when you're planning, this is super helpful when you're planning. But then when you go further in, it has lesson by lesson, and it gives you an overview, the materials, teaching tips. But to me, what looks really great about this is not overwhelming. This is one page of just the basic, and it shows you a smaller picture of the student page along with it. So for the different activities, it tells you what to do with it, and it shows you what their page looks like so you can kind of have a reference. I thought this looked pretty great. And I want to say she really liked the Horizons, but this is phonics and reading, but they had math and all kinds of stuff. So I like the teacher guide. I don't know about, like I said, with my kids, it would be interesting to see how the program went, but you just have to see what's going to work good for you, what you have time for, what is pleasing to your eyes. I know books don't have to be pretty. Don't judge a book by its cover. However, with kids, there's a reason why kids' places and kids' things are so colorful, because it makes it more fun. And, some kids, it doesn't matter. They don't care. But some kids like, the BJU, we did their spelling book one year, 1 or 2 years we used their spelling. But anyway, the 4th grade book, the spelling book, they had these pictures. You know how they'll do like themed pictures on all the books, right? Well, this picture, it was these clay molded, Play-Doh clay kind of figures. And I think they were in a boat or something. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But they looked kind of funny. And the kids, for some reason, my kids that year, they were like, they're creepy. Like they totally didn't like the picture on the front of the book, and that bothered them. And so like they didn't think of spelling and go, woo, exciting. They thought of spelling and went, because they didn't like the picture on the book. So, pay attention to that too. You can get a whole lot of things online and, my oldest girl, she's like me. She loves my younger one does too. Like they love in the summer, mine love doing the Brain Quest summer workbooks. And they're colorful, they're fun, but also as you do each lesson page or whatever, you get these award stickers for the subject area, and there's a pull out map in the back that you can take out of the back of the book, and they put these stickers on the map, and as they advance along the chapters, they earn these stickers and they put them on. And for some reason my kids love that. So even if the curriculum doesn't have that, you could always do something like that yourself. You could come up with you can just make a real easy, simple sticker chart. When they finish this chapter, they get a sticker to put on their chart. And then, they have those little square, I didn't think about bringing one of those down here. That's probably another episode too, is like rewards and incentives and things. But I'm going to have to take notes when I edit. Oh, look, I need to do an episode on this, on this, on this, on this. Episode, video, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, curriculum all on your own, custom. It can be overwhelming, but listen, just pick a place to start. Like I said, don't just go to Google because there will be too much. It'll be overwhelming. Just, look at a few, browse a few, see if, keep in mind how you and your kid are and what your needs are, and then pick one and start with that. Don't worry about, and ask God for guidance. Just ask him, Lord, help me. I don't know what to do. Lord, help guide me in the right direction. And he'll help guide you. Like, just ask him, Lord, and he's not gonna be like, I want you to use this one and this one. It might not be. Maybe he does. Maybe he will give you something extremely specific, but what I'm saying? Just ask the Holy Spirit for guidance and just pick one and get started. Don't worry about it. Don't stress about what if we don't like it. Well, if you don't like it, then go try something else. It'll be okay. All right? All on your own, custom. I think that's it. Don't forget to check the notes for all the links. And don't forget to hit the like button if this was helpful, and subscribe to the channel so you can see all that new content that I need to do coming up. This is going to be a beast to edit. No. Oh yeah, this is really good. Okay. Yeah, this is long. I'm going to end that now.